All right, Craig Wright and Calvin Ayre team up in the Hollywood thriller Bitcoin, Killing Satoshi. It's going to be a blockbuster. Looks like Warner Brothers is going to be picking it up. So we're going to talk about that in X Space today. We're going to talk about also not that we didn't have enough drama and excitement already, but some guy filing a $285 billion case to get not just the Satoshi coins, but it looks like 3 million in the early Bitcoin wallets. That'd be like all the Bitcoins. So all versions of Bitcoin would be included in that. So we're gonna talk about that and also the events, like the latest goings on. And I'm gonna break some of this stuff down, like about the court case, my perspective. It's gonna be badass. So all right, stay tuned. We're gonna go inside, and I'll see you at the top. Good to see you, everybody. Great Bitcoin Flippening Series coming at you. Gonna be a big one. Some of the cool things I had to mention. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Or a couple ideas. This Rod Serling guy. No one's coming to save you. Here comes our little Satoshi. Why don't you come down and tell us about the bonded courier? Nick. BSV will disintermediate BTC. Cam. Well, he's going to go to that event and make it next time. Oh, AI Doc. I haven't seen that yet. Notifications. Hop on. People are waiting. Start your space. Bitcoin paging. Great post by Kate. You there? What time? I responded there. TikTok. Warner Brothers is part of a Jewish car vault. I have comments on that. No one, I don't own any crypto, no real Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't know what's up with my freaking video here. It looks like it's not clear. What's up, y'all? It's gonna be a great day. This is Gavin Mehl. This is gonna be the Great Bitcoin Flipping Series 9. We did a number of these now, and I wanted to just looks like 9. That's it. Actually, not that many. I've been just doing them on kind of an unscheduled manner, and I wanted to just kind of get people together and doing other shows as well, a bunch of other shows between this. But I wanted to do this series because a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now is it's not like we don't have enough drama and excitement as it is. But now that this big court case has been filed over there in New York, I think it's even. It's bigger than Kleiman. I mean, it's bigger than Copa. So, I mean, it's the biggest case I've ever seen. $285 billion in Bitcoin. And I've just thought about some ideas on that. Maybe I should intervene into the case, or if I can intervene into the case, I don't know. Maybe I can. I don't have any standing to, but maybe there's a way. I don't know if anyone's going to even defend the thing. So I thought it would just be, silly to let it go into judgment and then have that guy end up owning all those coins and no one know who he is. I'd just like to get him on the stand and ask him a few questions and say, "Hey, who are you? Who's Noah Doe? Who's behind all this?" I'd like to. That would be my goal. Like, I'd love to do a deposition on the guy and just ask him some questions. Hey, buddy, what's your right to all these coins? How come you can take all these? Who are you? And what about these opcodes and the Solomon brothers? And that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be entertaining as hell. Talk about that, and also the Warner Brothers film that's coming out. It looks like it's going to be, I'm sorry, Warner Brothers looks like they're going to be picking up that movie, Killing Satoshi Bitcoin. And, it looks like there was a deal inked over there in Cannes Film Festival in France. So the film, and this is unofficial, guys, so don't hate me for it. I'm just giving you the information before it's officially potentially official. So it's unofficial that Warner Brothers is going to take it, but it looks like it's probable somebody's going to take it. It's a big deal out of that film festival. It looks like, and it's going to get distribution. And you got Doug Liman, who did Born Identity. He did Day After Tomorrow, Tom Cruise, or Edge of Tomorrow, Tom Cruise. Did a bunch of other major blockbuster films, and then also the Social Network guy Ryan Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh was at that 2023 CoinGeek conference in London with Calvin and Craig, and he's clearly aware of what's going on. And these guys are pretty committed. I mean, they're not backing down. They got Craig Wright as Casey Affleck, and they got Calvin Ayre, the Titan of Blockchain, as playing the other guy, Pete Davidson. Gail Godot is going to be the reporter, and that's the character Andrew O'Hagan. So today may be a good time to kind of talk about some of the story stuff, like back in the day with how we even got here. It's a really cool story. I mean, I was talking to Bruce, a friend of mine, Bruce. He used to be in our group here a lot, and he still kind of is, but he's not. He goes by a different name now, Bruce. But he says that crypto is dead, basically, and nobody cares about crypto at all. If he does a crypto event, nobody shows up at all, and nobody wants anything to do with it. So, and I kind of agree. It's just boring. It's dead. It's not exciting. And so, what is exciting is like utility and scale, actually adoption. That's exciting. And I saw a couple posts here by some of these. I just read a lot of stuff on X, and one of the guys, I would like to find the post, but it said how he was making a comparison between BTC and BSV, and how there's so much liquidity in BTC, and there is, and I'm not shaming that in any way, but he didn't understand the actual value of using the blockchain. He seems like he's just missing the whole concept of utility and why there is a need. There's one thing about moving money and liquidity, but then there's another thing where you actually need to use the coin. You actually have to use the thing, BSV, and that's the value of it, because it has utility and you need it to. It's like the idea where ETH came from was that they had gas and you'd need to get the ETH to do the other projects. You had to have it in there, and that's the same thing with BSV. That's what I mean. Same thing. And they took that from Bitcoin, but I mean it's the same concept. You need BSV to utilize the chain at scale eventually. So it's it's a massive thing. But the movie is something I want to talk about. Also, the Warner Brothers and any events coming up. I know there's an event coming up in London that I'm aware of. I'm not sure if it's a public event. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about it, so I won't give you too much. But I'd love to do an event out here in the Bay Area as well. Maybe even next week. I got a couple places I could do it at. So, I wanted to do that. So, okay, cool. Oh yeah, I opened up the stage. You guys are welcome to chime in. So before we do that, let me just give you kind of a background here on some of the cool stuff. So the court case is up in New York. Now this guy, he had called himself Noah Doe, and what he's claiming is that he is he's claiming that he found this. He has an algorithm, and the algorithm has allowed him to identify a bunch of early Bitcoin wallets, not just a bunch, 3 million. And he's found them. He did what's a New York property law procedure, and he brought those in a key fob down to the police and says, I found these abandoned wallets. And it's funny, I'm calling him a digital wallet. I don't really think that's the proper definition. He just found addresses on the internet, people's addresses at their house. He sees that guy's got an address. That's all he saw, all he has. He has no keys. So he brought those down to the police, and then he left them there for about a year. If you guys remember the Solomon Brothers notice that went out there, and it sure was weird because when that Solomon Brothers notice went out there last year, it looked like there was like CSW on the wallet addresses. To me, I remember seeing that. I remember seeing all sorts of weird encryptions and the hashing in the wallets, and it was just like very strange. I never got to figure it all out, but there were some interesting blogs about that. But that's what this is. And so I'd like to find out who this person is, and the only way to do that is intervene in the case and then have a deposition or do some discovery, and we could find out who this person is. And I honestly, what would happen as soon as I would do that, or someone would do that, that guy's going to fold. He's going to fold his cards because he doesn't want to come out and be known for what he's doing. I don't think, unless it's someone we know, unless it's like Craig Wright. Because those are a lot of the Kleiman and Wright coins. Not all of them, maybe all of them. I don't know, but a lot of them. So the movie, though, let me just cover that, and we'll open up in a minute. And that Casey's going to be on at 10 for sure. So Now the film, the Warner Brothers stuff. There's that Cannes Film Festival. I didn't go to that, but I did go to the conference there in Las Vegas. I told a lot of people about this movie, and people are freaking excited as hell about it. It's a big deal. You're gonna have it. Looks like it's gonna come out in summer of next year, which is good because I really want to strike a book deal. I've already kind of done a great manuscript on a lot of this stuff, and I really like to strike a deal on it. I don't see how it's possible within a year, but I'll do my best to get something. I could get something self-published, but I don't think I could get a book deal by then. But either way, the movie's going to be huge. It's going to go through the whole story with Andrew O'Hagan. If you go back and read the O'Hagan affairs, it's only 38 pages. It has a whole different light to it now, and I've read it a couple times in the last couple weeks. I just read through it again, and it's just so enlightening to see what was going on at that time. And that was actually before the Wired and Gizmodos stuff. That's when he met Craig. Was before all that, and he tells a story about how Calvin. Now, he didn't call himself Calvin. He was just an unknown person under Jimmy Wynn, was the one who reached out to him and then introduced him to the attorney up there in Ontario, or was it Vancouver? I think it's Vancouver is the town that everybody's from up there. That attorney up there, and then Matthews, and then Craig, and everybody started meeting together, and the whole saga started unfolding. So, yeah, dude. So let's it looks like we got Crypto Voyager up, man. How you doing, bro? Do you want to unmute? Feel free, if you will, if you like.
Hey, Gavin. Hi. How's the audio?
I'll live in the dream.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Living the dream, buddy. How you doing?
The guy found some addresses. Well, honestly, anybody that's running a node is also all those addresses. I don't understand what the guy did. He found some addresses on the blockchain.
Not only did he find the addresses, but there is a law in New York, and it's in their New York Civil Code, and it says when you find, and this is what he's claiming, he says that when you find what he says is abandoned property, which is, yeah, that's just what he says. Somebody abandoned these. They didn't use them for over 6 years.
How does he know that it's abandoned? So in New York, can I go into a house and if it's empty, just say, "Oh, look at that! I found this house in Park Avenue. It's empty. It's abandoned. It's mine now." Is that how the law works in New York?
I'm not sure about that. If you can, I don't think so. No, I don't think you can just go.
Well, that's what he's doing. I mean, look, basically, it's, "Oh, look at that! I found a very nice statue with a torch on this island. It's now mine." And if nobody claims it for a year, then I'm the owner of the Statue of Independence of Liberty.
Well, so in contrary, let me kind of frame it like this. This is what he's doing. So he's actually not gone inside yet if you compare it to a house. He's not going inside yet. He's standing on the outside and he's saying, "Hey, Mr. Police Officer of New York, I found this place over here is abandoned. Nobody is there. I don't have the keys to get inside. I want to go inside. Here is the numbers. Will you hold on to them for me? I'm not going to do anything with them until I get an approval from the court." And that's what he's doing right now. He doesn't have any keys. He can't go inside.
And that's how it works. And that's how it works in New York.
Well, he can't go inside. No, but he
can. Yeah. I understand. That he can't go inside.
But he can.
Is that how it works in New York?
That's how it works in New York. If you find abandoned property, you're supposed. Well, that's the law says. It says you're supposed to bring it to the police, and I think it's more common for like abandoned jewelry or things you find on the street. You bring it like that's what they're.
But there is a difference between something that is movable and something that is not movable.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I go into an apartment complex with 300 apartments, okay. Just statistically, some of those apartments will be empty, and the owner is using it as a store of value. Okay, so instead of him buying a Rolex, he buys an apartment. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, the law allows that. Apartment prices go up in value. Everybody needs an apartment. Yada 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 yada. Okay, so I go there. I put I don't know, some masking tape on the door, yeah, or hair or some other spy crap. 6 months later, I go there again and I see that my masking tape, nobody has moved my masking tape or my hair or whatever, so I know that nobody's living in there. I go to the police and say, hey, yo, by the way, apartment 33D in Fifth Avenue is empty. Nobody's using it. I'm claiming it's abandoned, so it's gonna be mine now. Is that how it works?
No, no.
Well, that's what the guy is doing.
And I think it's
The
a
guy is
bogus
looking
case.
at the blockchain.
I'm with you. It's a bogus case.
Okay, fine.
What's up?
Okay. Well, the same bogus case as the one with the lost numbers. The
Well,
Solomon Brothers one.
well, it is the Sol. Here, let me give a little more background. It is the Solomon Brothers case, and here is the kind of. I'm pulling up the complaint right now, and the complaint says that if you, it talks about in the paragraphs, it says, I found 1,333. He found multiple sets of wallets. 1,333 digital wallets is one set, is what he's claiming, with an algorithm. And then he turned them into the police department. And then he found another 519, what he's calling abandoned wallets. He turned them into the police department, totaling a number of 39,911 digital wallet addresses dormant for the last 5 years. In compliance with the New York property law, I brought them over to the police department and I left them there for 8 months. The police gave them back to me.
How do you bring wallets? How do you bring wallets to the police department? How does that work?
He's saying he has them on a USB drive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so he gave Bitcoin physicality. Is that correct?
Well, let me just go to the next paragraph here. It says property law 257. This is New York property law. Abandoned wallets vested in. He's claiming vested in Noah Doe by December 26th of last year, March 26th of this year, and April 14th of this year. Then he filed suit, and he's claiming that he wants these transferred to him now. Now, here's the notice parts. He goes into the factual background and how he's explaining public and private keys, and then he talks about how there are, under New York, I'm sorry, property. Oh yeah, 17th precinct is where he sent them to. They gave them back to him, but he found these wallets, and then now, oh, here it is. On or about June 22nd, 2025, Noah Doe authorized a cyber blockchain expert to send messages to the former owners of the found wallets and strategic consultant to host web pages. This is the Solomon Brothers webpage with notice to the wallet holders. Some tests were sent in at an end of June 2025, from June 30th through July 10th of 2025, under Noah Doe's direction. The expert sent messages to each wallet via an advanced blockchain software technique known as an op return, which enables a party to insert tokens into the digital wallet. This message directed each wallet holder to a web page that contained a notice, the abandonment notice. The message were transmitted to each of every found wallets, and the abandonment notice was on a web page hosted by Solomon Brothers, using Solomon Brothers established domain.
So the Noah Doe guy is for sure the Solomon Brothers issue.
Yep, according to this court case.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't been ruled on yet now, Crypto Voyager. Now we don't know. But it definitely is connecting the dots.
Do we know when that will happen?
Yeah, it's going to happen fast because nobody's appearing, and they are. Oh, here's where it's scaring me. I'll be honest. Here's why I'm a little bit nervous. Is on just this week, or I'm sorry, it would have been this week or maybe on Monday. This guy, he went to the court And this was the thing where I was kind of laughing about this case, and I thought this is never going to go anywhere because I thought, well, they're never going to be able to serve all these people, all these wallets. They're never going to serve anybody, and they're never going to figure this out. What this guy did, the attorney, and he's this attorney out of Brooklyn, he went and filed an ex parte to the judge and asked, meaning an emergency motion to the judge. The judge refused himself, got off the case, left. A new judge came on the case. And then she granted the ex parte, allowing him to serve everybody through an op return message, which is unprecedented, meaning that he's going to now serve them with the op return, give them a summons inside the blockchain as opposed to a regular summons. That concerns me a little bit. So if these people
Wait, the other judge recused himself.
Yeah, the judge recused himself right off the case, right when that happened. Like it was weird because it just no reason given. I see the exact reason. It just seemed odd. I had to put
He has some Bitcoin.
yeah, I had to put my tinfoil hat
Bitcoin.
on with that one. Like the judge just left, and it's like, oh, I'm biased, or I can't be a part of this, or something's up, and they left. And then another judge came in and granted a very unusual motion for that type of service, which is strange to me. Why would they grant that? Why wouldn't you just do a regular procedure where they got to serve people or you got to publish it in a newspaper at a minimum? But they didn't do that. They're serving everybody in the blockchain. So eventually time will pass, and if nobody appears, they're going to get a judgment. And the judgment is going to be what it's going to say is this: plaintiff prays that the court enter a judgment declaring that the plaintiffs are the owners of the abandoned wallets. That's what he wants. So hopefully those aren't any of your, are those your wallets, Crypto Voyager? Or are any of those yours? Can you?
Nice one.
There's 3 million wallet addresses, so maybe you might want to double check.
People are still buying crypto?
No, not really.
No. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Nobody's buying crypto anymore.
It's kind of played out. Except
yeah.
Liquid, right?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Who's this? RJ?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Look, it sounds like you're a New Yorker.
Yeah, something like that.
A Baltimore hat from New York?
No, just Baltimore.
Nice. So what's on your mind?
Well, just happy that Bitcoin is going to let everyone down. And think it's funny that people really believe this is going to work. And they're going to keep on using liquidity to pump all the AI shit. That's my thesis. They're going to rotate all this institutional Bitcoin money right into Anthropic and all the open AI. And the Bitcoin price is going to get driven down to about 35K. And then they're going to pop it back up. And that's what I think is going to happen. They got to come up with a lot of money. So, anyway, what's your thoughts? TikTok next block, profitable mining.
My thoughts are that it's.
This is.
Huh?
Can you come closer to the mic, Crypto Voyager, or maybe adjust your mic a little bit?
No, I am as close as it gets. This is my my headset. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know how you can't get a better headset, Voyager. We've been talking for many years. And you currently still sound the same as when I first met you.
Well, look, RJ. The minute a BSV reaches $5, I'll buy myself a lot of BSV. Then it's gonna reach $5,000, and I'm gonna buy myself a headset. Okay?
Well, I tell you what, I will buy more BSV at $5.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll do.
There we go.
It's pretty sad that we're all waiting for $5.
So what's up? We got David Case on the stage with us. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Sounds like you're on mute, but you can.
How
Let's go
does
to.
Scott Bessent take the cryptos?
How does he take cryptos?
Well, he was on TV saying that they've confiscated crypto out of people's
Oh, I
wallets.
did hear that. He has no right to do that without a due process.
How did he do it? That's the question.
That's a good question, actually. That is a very good question. How the hell did he do that? Did he? Yeah, that's a very good question. I'd like to
Hey,
know.
And
can you hear me now?
yeah, hello.
Well, Dave. Oh yeah. Hey, David. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Hey, I just had a question for you as a lawyer. So being that OpReturn is not really a messaging platform and is not, and no wallets really have any sort of a messaging around OpReturn values or anything like, how in any way, shape, or form is publishing on an op return, I assume in a transaction that pays to these addresses, how is that in any legal justification a notification of anything? Like there's not infrastructure to read those unless you happen to go to a block explorer and happen to look at those transactions and happen to see it.
I see. So, in a technical sense, there's no notification when that happens.
Yeah, I mean there is not a messaging system on Bitcoin around op return. Like people could have invented things and there could be wallets that do it, but aren't any. So it's like they're just kind of like writing information into the ether that I don't know. Like it doesn't actually make any sense to me that this could actually legally be considered a public claim or an announcement, or does it not need to be public? I mean,
Well, I think that the attorney may have done a little bit of a sales job here with the court and telling him that it was a form of a notice and it was a messaging notice, and apparently it is not. You're saying so because they're saying the message was transmitted to each wallet.
so I guess that's where. So like, if I make a payment to an address that you hold, your wallet will probably pick up that there is a payment output there that you can unlock. It would probably show that in the balance of your wallet. But to my knowledge, there's no like standard way that says you label your transactions this way, and every wallet's going to show that as a note about the trend. Like, I don't believe that layer of like, in all likelihood, no user would have ever seen this if someone didn't find it on a block explorer or point it out or whatever. Because it's not like those those notices are going into the people's wallets. Yeah.
So that's going to require someone like you to basically what would have to happen. So here's what happened. He got a random guy who claims he's an expert on Bitcoin, and he put in a declaration, and he says that he sent this message to all these abandoned wallets. But in your opinion, that's not true. They can't just send a message to these wallets.
Right. They can send money to it, and I mean, they can send Bitcoin to it, I should say. And in that same transaction, there might be like an op return that has a message in it. But like in Bitcoin, your money is all at your output. And in BTC, there isn't a way to like record a message on an output. That becomes a non-standard transaction, and you can't do it on BTC. So the transaction itself could have payments to a bunch of wallets, and it could have a note recorded on that transaction. But the person's wallet is only picking up their outpoint that is their coins, and the other outputs are for other people. And so any concept of here's some message in an op return that communicates something to that whole transaction, that there's no like standard protocol around giving that
So
kind of information.
we could challenge, and we could say, hey, look, you guys, you guys have put in a well, we would have to object to their declaration. The guy says that he sent a message using op return, and then you as an expert could say, wait a second, that is not true. You cannot send a message to a 3 million wallets using op return.
Well, you can if there is a messaging spec and if the wallets know how to understand it, and if it's a like there could be protocols that are developed to do that. They just don't
I see.
exist.
Oh, okay. So they don't exist yet. So therefore, it wasn't done.
That would be my interpretation, but I'm not a legal mind. So
Well, I think the legal side's simpler. They're just saying, look, they're actually relying on the expert who said this. The legal side, they don't really know. The expert's saying that he did this advanced. He's just calling it advanced procedure. That's it. It's not really going into how. He's just saying it was advanced.
advanced in that it's not a standard Bitcoin transaction. I don't know. Yeah.
An advanced blockchain software technique known as OpReturn, where a party to insert tokens into the digital wallet, which enables a party to insert tokens into the digital wallet.
Okay. Well, I mean, and there might be some old mechanism that certain wallets had, but I certainly do not believe that that is a standard that most wallets support. Like I don't think your money abandoned in Coinbase is going to get any sort of messaging, even if there was a platform around that. Or like it would have to be something that the wallet itself supports as a standard. But
Could it
again, I'm mostly ignorant about any of this. It's just
could it matter if they were older, for example, pre 2013 wallets?
I I mean, I guess it's interesting because if they're truly abandoned, obviously no one's going to see these anyways. But even if they're not abandoned, I don't think. I mean, again, maybe my history is wrong on what old stuff supported, but I'm pretty sure no.
I can
Anyways, I'm
challenge.
just conjecturing, but it seems quite suspect to me.
Let me see what Jay Paps thinks. Jay Paps, your hands up, buddy. Talk to me.
Hey, you ready for that tinfoil hat?
I'm ready. Tinfoil hat time.
I'm convinced Noah Doe is Craig Wright.
Oh, all right. Make your case.
Okay, first of all, if you want a pseudonym, everybody knows that when you don't know the name, it's John Doe. If you're a woman, it's Jane Doe.
Yep.
So why Noah? Who was Noah? What did Noah do? Who is the only Noah that most people know?
The ark.
The Ark, the flood.
Okay. What did Noah do?
He built the ark.
To save who? To save a select few and start the civilization all over again. Who's a pastor?
Interesting theory. So basically,
Who's a pastor? Who's a certified pastor? Who would send out a notice to 39,000 odd Bitcoin addresses that he knows will not have a reply? Who would do that? Would it not be maybe the person who was hacked and has a list of those addresses?
well,
Would
it
it
is
not
a
be
good
this
way to
person?
push the whole narrative of court ordered moving coins for sure. That's very interesting to think about.
And did CSW or did CSW not say that coins will move by court order?
Yeah, this is going to take a little massaging to move the coins, even with a court order. But
I don't care how much massaging it takes. They're going to move with court order.
In fact, I don't actually know how the coins would move with the court order, with this court order.
Look, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that a few things are lining up here.
It makes more sense to me. It's honestly, it's more believable to me if that's true, because
And I'll throw something else out there. It's the fact that you haven't heard a single post from CSW
about this.
in any kind of an uproar about this.
Right, he's not upset about this.
Nor have you heard anything from Kurt having some kind of an uproar about this. Now, I'm not saying Kurt is he's on the inside, but he's like, if anyone's on the inside between me and Kurt, it ain't me. It's gonna be more him.
I'm close enough to Kurt that I think I would know if Kurt knew that. and I don't know that at all. So I don't think Kirk
Well,
knows that, but
perhaps yes, perhaps no. All I'm saying is a lot of things are. Look, you can tell me I have a tinfoil hat on, but for
You muted.
oh,
Go ahead.
I should still be on.
Yeah, you're good
The
now.
the biggest calling card for me is the fact that he used the pseudonym Noah instead of just John Doe.
Right. That is an unusual pseudonym, Noah.
And it's not only that it's the name is unusual, it's what has this unusually named person done in the history of the world, and what is CSW trying to do himself.
Well,
He wants all of this to burn down.
yeah. And here's
He wants all of this destroyed.
to support your tinfoil hat claim here. I will say this. Do you remember the article? There was an article was deleted off the internet, then it came back. Apparently, this guy did this long post, a diagnostic of all those Solomon Brothers wallets about a year ago. And this
Okay?
the Solomon Brothers are the same thing. We're talking about the same guy right now. That's what this is about. So those Solomon Brothers, I remember reading CSW wallets in there. And I remember he would write, there was wallets with messages in them. I have to look back at what they were. But it sure is strange.
Look, if this turns out to be what it is, just remember my name. That's all I ask.
I mean,
But that's what I think.
if it's Craig, then
Yeah, it's funny. I know. Look. At the end of the day, all we are, at least I'll speak for myself. I'm just a regular guy. I'm just digging, man. I'm just digging. I'm trying to find the angle. I'm trying to find something about what's going on. Not really for any kind of financial reason, because my I guess you can call it my investment. My investment is my investment, and it is what it is. I mean, we're either going to the moon or we're going to the Marianas Trench, and either way, I'm in the ship, and I ain't leaving. So I'm just looking around for things that are interesting. And I thought this was interesting, so I started to dig in.
heck yeah, me too, man. That's where I'm at. It's fun and it's interesting, and we're on it together, man.
Yo, J Paps,
Yes,
J
sir.
Paps, I just want to say that I have been underwater for more than 40 days.
It's okay, dude. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, what I tell anybody and everybody about any investment is do not invest anything more than you're willing to lose and walk away from. That's all. Simple as that. If you have your rent money and it's hanging in the balance, like, dude, readjust yourself.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to be gambling your kids' your kids' college tuition or your rent money. This is not things that you're supposed to be investing, not for anything, not even for 24 hours. That's all. There's stuff. There's what I like to call base money, and there's fuck you money, and the investable money is the fuck you money.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Hey, Gavin, do you know if the Solomon Brothers naming is included in the lawsuit stuff at all?
The Solomon
or-
Brothers is included in the lawsuit. Let me pull it up. It says
And
right
were
here.
they? I mean, were they a publicly traded company? But like, is there any record of their assets or their name having being sold through the bankruptcy proceedings or anything? Or is there any trail of who actually owns that now?
Oh, I other than what's in the pleadings, that's all I've got so far. I haven't gone into it further, but it says this: in February 2025, Noah Doe engaged a strategic consultant, Solomon Brothers, Strategic Advisors Inc., Solomon Brothers, or Strategic Consultant. So it doesn't appear that it's a law firm; it's a strategic consultant of some kind. But it's the Solomon Brothers, to assist in the development of a plan to reach any of the found wallets and provide them with notice regarding the abandonment, and to detect any wallets that may have been incorrectly grouped with the found wallets. So they are all throughout this lawsuit. They're basically like an expert. As a matter of fact, I have the guy. Let's see if I have a guy's name here. Let's see. one of the people's name. Let's see the Satoshi complaint. The complaint. It's op return. Okay, here we go. ABC Company. Okay, yeah. Okay, before I go to the guy's name, here's where this ex parte order happened. So I thought this suit had no chance. It was just a joke. But until this week on the 22nd, the attorney, he filed in an ex parte that was signed by the judge after the first judge recused herself, Kathy J. King. She signed the order for alternative service. And it says, upon considering plaintiff's application for a proposed order permitting alternative service of the summons. So as opposed to personally serving the summons on the parties, they're going to go for an alternative service. And it's going to allow them, he's saying this, the judge says, it appears to the satisfaction of the court that this case is proper, and it's proper for granting the relief requested. Meaning they're going to allow them to do this op return. It says here, ordered pursuant to the law, sufficient cause being found, the plaintiffs shall serve the summons on the parties using the message, sending a message to each digital wallet via the advanced blockchain software technique known as op return. Such message should direct the wallet holders to a web page that contains the referenced documents of this court case. That happened. Judge signed. Filed May 20, filed on, it says May 7th. I thought it was May 22nd. May 7th it was filed. That's happened.
Do we have a timeline as to when this could basically execute?
Yeah, let me pull up the service. There is a service as well. Okay, so that is the other document. Affirmation of service. This is on May 22nd. Carlos J. Voltron. This would be the person from Solomon Brothers. I am a blockchain engineer with over 10 years of experience on blockchain technology. I am now, and at all times herein, have been a citizen of the United States, and I can testify to the truth herein. On the 22nd of May, 2026, I served a copy of the summons and amended complaint in this action on all these respondents, John Doe's between 1 through 39,000 plus, by sending a message to each of the digital wallet addresses via advanced blockchain software technique known as op return. Such messages directed wallet holders to a web page that contained the above referenced documents. I verified the messages were delivered. Attached in Exhibit 1 is a verification that indicates each batch of op return airdrop messages. And then he attaches a batch of 1 through 98. Nothing really attached here, but apparently it's on another link. Carlos J. Voltron is the guy that did that, and that was on May 22nd. So normally that's going to give another 45 days with this to respond. So we would have until about the 4th of July. Right around the 4th of July, Paps.
Okay, so we don't have to wait that long to see how this plays out. But
Yep.
To my eyes, someone who goes through the trouble of putting together over 39,000 Bitcoin wallet addresses and giving it, look, out of 39,000. Would it not really muck up the whole situation if like 114 actually answered? You know, my thinking is the person that has knowledge of these wallets knows there is no access. That's why he included all of those, and he messaged all of them at the same time. My guess is none of them are going to answer, because this is part of this is either part or the whole stash of what was taken from CSW. And at the end of the day, I don't even think he cares about the BTC.
JPaps, that is not quite true actually. Some addresses did move when they got the Solomon Brothers of return message. That's one, and most likely some of the addresses that were contacted with the Solomon brothers were also the addresses that signed in the Miami case that they don't belong to Craig Wright, and that Craig Wright is well,
Yes.
you know what I meant to say.
Yes, but
So
that was before this case. I know that some addresses were notified and some definitely did answer, but that was before this case. That was before these 39,000. This was before the 39,000 address claim was presented. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I remember, because I do remember some individual wallets were served, and each of them, or most of them, if not all of them, did reply. But now, out of these 39,000, nothing has replied so far.
Nothing is replied
Correct
so
me if
far.
I'm wrong.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So those were separate, and this is another batch. Now, nothing's to say that it's not the same entity that was behind those that was also fishing to see if he can lay claim to those as well. Nothing's to say, even if it's CSW. Nothing's to say. This guy definitely wants all the coins. That's absolutely, as far as I see it. And I don't even think that CSW wants the BTC. I think it's the BSV that CSW is trying to secure. Personally,
3 million
because
BSV.
Well, look, at the end of the day, anyone who has some technical knowledge of the BTC blockchain knows it's going to go to zero. It will absolutely go to zero. It's just a matter of time.
Michael
The
said,
block reward.
I'm sorry, Peter Schiff's been saying that for years. He's been telling people that.
Yeah, but Peter Schiff is saying it for completely different reasons.
Oh, okay.
Peter Schiff hasn't mentioned the fact that miners, that there's the block reward subsidy keyword is happening every 4 years, and the price has to double every 4 years for absolutely no reason other than the fact to keep the blockchain alive. So where does that money come from? Peter Schiff just thinks, oh, it's not gold, it's not worth anything. He's basically coming to the same conclusion, but for completely the wrong reasons. I'm speaking from a completely blockchain technical angle. Peter Schiff just thinks that gold is the be all and end all, and gold is definitely it is definitely something. It is definitely something valuable, but for utility, let's be real. Let's be real. I cannot go and buy a cup of coffee with gold. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Let me go to, we got, what's up, Alex.Sats? Good to see you, buddy. Come on and talk. We'd love to hear from you in a minute. Let me go to 3D Eric first. You got your hand up?
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. GM.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Twitch refugees that I see down below. I wanted to revisit a little bit about what David was speaking towards, about how wallets may not be able to show said data, right? So as a guy that, smashes artwork onto both BSV and BTC, I understand that not all wallet viewers show everything that's in a wallet. Not all data is revealed. It's one of the rabbit holes that I think needs to be challenged in this court case is when we say abandoned property, it implies that, and it is relying on laws that dealt with the derelict boat that a renter left in your backyard, the iPhone left in the movie theater that nobody comes back to get, right? So all these are abandoned in a spatial sense, in a physical sense. They are left in an area that wasn't meant for them to stay in perpetuity, right? So one thing about Bitcoin wallets, and this is a joke that I make to newbies all the time, is I say, look, Bitcoin doesn't exist. Only the receipts for it do. Non-custodial wallets don't exist anywhere. Your Unisat wallet, your Handcash wallet, pick a wallet, any wallet that you have keys to, that is viewing the wallet that is on chain. So these wallets, I would argue, are not abandoned because they weren't left in a place. In other words, they are in a place of perpetuity. They weren't left under the seat of a taxi cab. You know, you got a USB stick and there's a wallet on that BSV stick. Okay, now we can argue over the physical properties of that BSV stick and maybe what's contained inside it. But my argument, and I do hope this is kind of sussed out through cases like this, is just because we have something that's inactive, it is in its appropriate place.
Yeah.
In other words, it doesn't just because. So, I think it's inappropriate. Like, what if he had sent them all these messages as an ordinal, and it wasn't in the op return, right? And it was just a big text ordinal. If he doesn't have an ordinal aware wallet, if he moves that coin, it could just get spent in fees, the whole message, right? So there's
Here,
no preservation of the message or anything like that. And David, have you thought about such things? I was wondering if
yeah,
you had
David, go
any
ahead.
views on that.
I mean, I haven't thought about this really at all until this space popped up today. But I ultimately what you're saying is exactly what I was saying earlier, which is like at the core of the chain, there are UTXOs and there are scripts. Even things like, okay, this is an address, a legacy address that starts with a one, anything of like, okay, this is an op return messaging, like any of that is kind of extra on top of just the core Bitcoin functionality. And so even the concept of what exactly a wallet does or how a wallet finds UTXOs, like all of that is really external to the core of the blockchain. I mean, the blockchain is really just there are UTXOs, they have a locking script, and they have a BSV or a BTC, a Bitcoin amount stored within them, Satoshi's amount. And that's really it. Like, that's kind of at the core of Bitcoin. That's all there is. Any concept further that says, okay, this is owned by an address that looks like this, or this data conveys information, or this is an inscription that is to be viewed as an ordinal. All of that is at the wallet layer. That is, I mean, essentially, you've got this fabric that is Bitcoin that you can do whatever with, but everything else is just like an interpretation of what happened on Bitcoin. And I mean, you look at the amount of wallets that are out there right now. You look at in the BSV world, how many people have can't get their stuff off an Electrum wallet because Electrum wallet does it different from Handcash, which does it different from yours wallet, which does it different from how Centbee used to. Like every one of them has kind of a different standard approach at how we're going to manage the user's assets for them and even what the user's assets are. And so, yeah, I mean, that's essentially where I was starting off with this whole thing is like, I don't know how there's a universal communication standard or publishing a notice or how whatever legal kind of real world equivalents of this is posting a notice. I don't really think it exists that way. But you could also, well, everything on the blockchain is public, and so this is
Yeah.
just like sticking
Putting it
posters
in.
all up over
Well,
the
what about
light
the theory
poles.
of like, hey, would it be equivalent to publishing it into a random newspaper like the New York Times that nobody really looks at? Maybe let's say you don't really read, but it's there.
Yeah, I mean that equivalency, that argument could probably be made. And honestly, this whole thing is probably some developer and or lawyer decided they would just try and here's a novel theory of case law. Let's see if it goes through. And
It
if it
is.
doesn't,
It
if
is
it
novel.
does, they're rich. And if it doesn't, well, they've established some case law and
Yeah.
established some precedents. And
It's very novel. And here is that. And did you want to respond, Eric? Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. So this is about, quote, legal ownership of a wallet, but that doesn't then reveal the keys to said wallets. So let's say they're awarded this in a judgment, and then 10 years later, I decide to move my coins. Am I going to get hit with theft? Because all they did was basically take public ownership of said wallets. It didn't really mean that they had access to move anything out of them.
Yeah, it
Well,
actually
if
separates possession and ownership right here. This would actually separate the ownership laws via the possession. You could have the keys and possess the coins, and then this court could say, "Well, that's someone else's. He owns it. Owns it."
well, in this case, though, I mean, you ultimately get to a point, though, of 10 years down the road. If this goes through and 10 years down the road, you've got the keys and you try to move them. Well, I mean, again, this is very novel in a lot of ways because miners would actually have to move the coins. So your keys would not unlock those coins. Like if this were to actually happen, and if there were a court order to move coins, they would not be locked by your private key anymore. They would be locked by the new person. Like miners would literally have to update the spending conditions for those UTXOs, or the software would have to have custom rules built in or something. Um, to like you wouldn't actually be able to spend them anymore if they got moved,
I see.
or the receivers would not ever be able to spend them.
That's the whole joke of the court case. The whole joke of the court case is that Noah Doe says, okay, these are mine now because I've waited, I found them, whatever. Let me find a judge that acknowledges that. And now that the judge acknowledged that, okay, now minors, please, I don't have the keys because I found them on the street. Give them to me. No, we can't do that. Well, okay, fine. Then let's start a new court case. Hey, yo, judge, you gave me those coins, and these guys don't want to move it. Please tell them to move it or get the fuck out of New York.
Could
That's how I
um,
see it.
David, and then
I was just because that actually goes kind of with JPAP's idea there of this is actually someone trying to force this through the courts to make coins move, and that certainly is a precedent that would line up with what Craig has said he wants to do.
yep, OG Vapor, you got your hand up, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say what David just said. Craig's been
Gavin,
Hold on,
kick
Crypto
Cook
Voyager.
Lord,
Wait
please.
till wait your turn.
Kick
Hold on.
Cook Lord. No, 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 no. Right now, point of order. Cook Lord, kick him out because he's spamming the jumbotron. Kick
Who?
him out
Who
now.
is?
Cook Lord.
Oh, he's putting spam. Okay, let me do that. Oh, he's gone. Thank you.
Well, you might want to clear the big board here because there's something pretty gross up there.
How do I dismiss? Okay, I'll work on figuring that out. Okay, OG Vapor, you're up, buddy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say what David just said. The Craig has been advocating for the fiduciary, uh, well, the foundation, the miners, as a fiduciary right. Excuse my French. To restitute if you lose what I say your private keys to a wallet. So you could go to court, say, "Hey, I lost my keys. Um, uh, this is my wallet. Here's the proof," and then they owe you the coins. So it's not really decentralized as they pretend.
Yeah.
Same thing with BSV. I know this has come up numerous of time from Craig. He's been advocating it for a very long time. And if he truly got hacked, um, that's probably him trying to get restitution to his right. And the funny thing I see out of all this is the empty gods hack wallet. Why would that be in? So you would acknowledge the hack, or that's kind of because I wouldn't be surprised because if you, I've been in Bitcoin since like 2010, 2011. I've been looking at it, looking at what Satoshi did or Craig did. But once the foundation wanted to go to, well, I think it was Galvin, or I don't remember correctly. I would have to look back, but he said he's going to the CIA. That's when Satoshi dropped everything, and he just disappeared. And at the same time, Craig is getting sued by the Australians for tax. He's not having the right to it. So it's pretty coincidence. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if this Noah Doe would be Craig. It all lines up, and if what I was gonna say, if you've been around for a while, um, I've seen so much shady things, but I cannot imagine that a guy with this much architecture knowledge would have only worked on Bitcoin. So he could have been pseudo anonymous to any other coins and build wealth through that. And that's probably when you have your hands in too many things, that's where hacks can happen. So for me, I don't see any secrets out of this. It's just funny names. And if you know Craig, he likes movies and stuff. So that Noah Doe, that Doe guy, it's him for sure in my book. It's all my thesis or
Yeah.
my
And before I go to the movie
interpretation.
stuff, that's
Yeah,
really
go
good,
ahead.
OG Vapor. Good to hear from you. And that's the first time we talk. So I really appreciate your insight. Let me just bring up this property law really quick. It says 257 of the New York property law. It says that title to lost property, if you find lost property which has been deposited with the police, it shall vest in the finder and the rights thereon for let's see, et cetera, 45, et cetera. So it says it's sold if the finder of lost property under the value of $10 has made a reasonable under the value of $10. Wait, if the finder of lost property under the value of $10 has made a reasonable effort to find the owner, to restore it to him, and has been able to do so, the title should vest to him after 1 year. So I don't see how that even is going to apply. It's more than $10. Okay, this is the other one above. Provide sold. Yeah, so it's they're trying to come under this weird property law here, but I'm not sure if how it's gonna apply. But the judge granted that order. So if it's Craig, though, I mean, how is he a New York resident? That's the only thing that bothers me. I mean,
Well, Craig has been a New York resident.
has he?
He's been, yeah, he did for a while there.
Oh,
Pretty sure. He didn't stay all his life in Australia.
oh,
He worked for so many companies. He worked all around the world.
That's all pre-Bitcoin, though. I don't think that
yeah.
would probably. This
Because
would
it
have to
says
be in
here,
collaboration with other people
yeah, it
and
says that
other.
Noah Doe is a citizen and resident of New York. That's not Craig. Can't be.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, unless that's
So
false.
there's
But
another legal question for you then, Gavin.
yeah,
Use of a pseudonym. I mean, I'm assuming Noah Doe is a pseudonym, but like, is there any like rules for when you can or can't, or when, like, I know it's Doe is obviously used for like unknown victims and unknown perpetrators and
yeah.
unknown people like that, but like as far as actually filing a lawsuit as a pseudonym, is that
No,
even
it's
okay?
not allowed. It says, well, without good cause. You have to, under the New York civil law procedure, they have a 2101C, and it says that the caption of the summons must include the true names of the parties. The judicial system operates under the foundation that the presumption, is open and transparent. Defendants have constitutional rights to know their accusers. The right to know your accuser, the Sixth Amendment. You have the right to know who's accusing you, who's suing you. And so, no, it is not allowed without good cause. Yeah, a child endangerment case, something like that. There is exceptions, like with what's
But
called
there's
good
no
cause.
counterparties.
Yeah,
Right now,
no, there's
yeah,
no one
correct.
too.
Nobody's standing up and saying, I object. Right. Yet. I think we'll know. Well, by 45 days would be July 4th. We would know by then. If somebody wants to object or intervene. Vince said I should intervene in the case. I'm like, oh, maybe I should. We'll see. I don't have any standing. I don't know how I would intervene, but I have no standing. But they want to get all these Bitcoin. That's BSV, BCH, and BTC. Maybe that gives somebody standing.
But if you go to court and you try to get restitution from the operating parties, if I summon BSV, are they gonna fight it, or with just the court order they're gonna release them? BDC is probably gonna fight, but I don't see BSV fighting.
Right.
I don't know about BCH unless those guys knows who this guy is, because that changes a lot of things. If they know it's him, if they know what he's been involved with and knows that these address probably belong to him, they're probably not gonna fight.
Yeah. No, it's probably not. Vince, over to you, buddy. You're up. Hands up.
Hey, Gavin, how you doing, guys?
Awesome.
I mean, first off, I would attack the whole premise of the being able to get the right set of coins under the adverse possession. If you have or you know of a sunken Spaniard ship that lost all its gold somewhere in the Atlantic, I mean, this is kind of analogous to that. Do you actually have the gold? No, you're making a claim that, hey, look, somewhere out there, I know a ship was sunk, and these are the records and the amount of gold that was in it, and I want to claim it. I want to
Yeah.
claim it. I don't know where it is. I don't know how to get to it, but I want to make claim to it.
I don't have any
No,
keys to get it, but I know it's out
yeah,
there.
right. That's not what the spirit of the adverse
And
possession
it's funny,
is,
the relief
know,
he wants
and it
is
was more so
declaratory
with
relief. It's declare that these are his. He has title to them, and it's quiet title. He wants a clean title to the
right,
3 million coins.
right.
Yeah.
Right, which in reality he would never get just by pure mechanics of how the UTXO works. I mean, they're going to be tainted coins that just like newly minted coins, they would be sought after more as opposed to
I mean,
coins like
that may
this.
be true, but I think a court order would clear that.
Yeah, but can you really? I mean, can you really? Is there a mechanism to do that? To instruct, these remove all the history from these coins, and there's no way that
Yeah,
anyway,
there
that
is.
that
It's called quiet
yeah,
title.
right. But I'm just saying, how would it apply to something novel in this case where we're talking about coins?
Well, this would
um
definitely be a first novel idea, but in property law, it's how it would work. They would quiet and clear off any sort of encumbrances
right.
on the title.
So what I'm saying is that, this isn't like adverse possession of an abandoned home or abandoned
No,
car or something. Okay, well, I need the keys. You can make that argument. Say, well, yeah, you're allowed to gain the keys and access through a court order in that way. But when you're, analogizing it to the sunken ship full of gold, but you don't even know how to get to the ship and how to get to the gold. I mean, that's a totally different premise. You know, you don't have any physical possession of anything or anything tangible, so to speak, you know. Um,
what
so
was your idea
I,
on intervention?
an intervention, yeah, an intervener, all an intervener would have to do as an interested party is have, any small amount of BTC and claim that this will adversely affect, his coins, whether through, and I mean, you'd have to pick something in terms of if there is now an abundance of coins that could be just blown out into the market, and that would adversely affect the price and your investment in BTC. I mean, that's one argument. The other argument is that it would supposedly go against the alleged protocol mechanism that that coins are not exploitable or coins are not reversible, and now you're forcing a court to, to do this. And that would adversely affect your value of your BTC that you have. So any interested party can step in the shoes of Noah Doe and defend it theoretically.
Yeah,
So if
potentially.
you, I just did a quick Google
Oh,
search for
yeah.
Noah Doe,
Mhm.
and first thing up is a Bitcoin Magazine article that actually goes into quite a bit of detail about this.
Oh,
And one of the things, or a couple of things that they point out, one is that one of the addresses that's claimed is actually a counterparty burn address, which I don't know a whole lot about how counterparty used to work, but essentially a burn address, meaning this is an intentional destruction of these coins, not an abandonment. So there's some interesting, probably arguments that could be made around that. And the other thing that they point out is that I mean, this whole $10 and less than $10 limit is actually kind of a linchpin of the law they're going with this through, and so therefore, I don't think it would take much of an argument to say this is worth more than $10, and therefore the whole thing. I mean, they got to be just counting on no one being an interested party or something. This just seems like a slam dunk no case to me, but who knows?
I'm not aware of that $10 contingency or whatever. Can you explain that real
two,
quick? I'm
yeah,
not familiar with that.
257 of the New York property law. It's Article 7B in the statute. It talks about how specifically it says here, let me pull it up, exact quote here. It says, if the finder of lost property under the value of $10 has made a reasonable effort to find the owner and restore it to him and has been unable to do so, the title of such property shall vest in the finder at the end of 1 year after the finding.
Now, you said under $10 or over $2? I'm sorry.
Under. And they're saying, and the attorney's pleadings, he's saying, pursuant to 257, that's that same property law, the wallet's vested in Noah Doe either under number one, because he delivered the abandoned wallets to the police and Noah Doe as required under 2571 or 257 or 254. There's another statute, 254. Let me pull that up. 254 is a lost property one as well that exceeds $10. So he's coming in under one of the two. It's a little bit, a little bit more complicated on the other one, so I have to read through that more. But it's the 257 one or 254. 257 doesn't look like it would apply because it's more than $10, unless they were going to burn them all. But that's not in the complaint. Good article,
Well, no,
though,
it still
David. I
wouldn't
see
apply
that.
because each
What was it?
No, it still wouldn't apply because it doesn't make that contingency towards dependent. Oh, if you burn them or you destroy the property, then that alleviates the $10 rule. So yeah, so it would go under. They could go under 254, which is over $10. But again, I think that the best strategy would be is if someone came in as an interested third party. And not just filing an amicus brief, but by actually being an intervener, and stepping in the shoes of Noah Doe, and contesting the whole validity of the adverse possession.
Yeah, I would just do a deposition on the plaintiff and or discovery immediately. Just give me
Right. If they don't show, right.
come
I
forward
mean, what
and show
happens?
yourself. I want to see who you are.
Right. But you have to have standing, though. That's the
That's
first
the
battle that you're
problem.
going to have to.
You need
Right.
standing.
Well, the standing comes in as being an intervener by merely having, $10 worth of BTC. You're an interested party and could potentially be adversely affected by whatever ruling is, if this ruling is granted.
Hmm. Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Where's Casey? I don't see if she made it. Is she in the audience here? I don't see her. Let's see. Okay. Is she down here? I don't see her yet. That's weird. So, dude, you guys want to shift over? I want to talk a little bit about this movie topic here. And anything else? I think this. You guys saw the most latest thing was that the Warner Brothers thing that just came out. You know, now that Warner, well, it didn't really come out in a press release. I just am making the kind of the breaking the news on it, and from what I'm seeing, and then they deleted the article that I saw about that. Apparently, it was deleted after I posted it, but it was Warner Brothers was the one who was unofficially looks like they're making a deal with this Bitcoin Killing Satoshi movie. And it would be very ironic if that's the case, because remember, Warner Brothers is the one that did Dunes. And if you read the Satoshi Affair, Craig's favorite book growing up as a kid was Dune, the Dune movie, Dune trilogy books. And they did the Warner Brothers picked up the book on the book and made it a movie in Dunes. And now they'd be doing this story with Casey Affleck and the whole thing. I mean, so it could be, you know, I don't necessarily think that's a conspiracy, but it looks like it would be very synergistic if it was Warner Brothers. And I know that other people don't like Warner Brothers; they're bad and they're evil. I'm like, you know, I don't know. I can't. Dude, this is just Hollywood. I mean, isn't everybody bad and evil? I don't know what to tell you. So, you know. So, but I'd love to hear any thoughts on the movie, or you guys, any other topics you want to talk about.
But if I can say, this is gonna be an amazing movie. I mean, of anything that came out as visually over Bitcoin, this will be epic. I mean, nothing came out of this level out of Bitcoin. So for sure, I have big expectation, but it's gonna break the bank for sure.
I would agree. I would agree. I mean, it's huge. I mean, and also to think that you have the real life characters of Craig Wright and Calvin Ayre in the movie. These are not fictitious names. These are the real people playing, you know, actors playing them. I think that's huge. And it looks like you also have, from what I've read, you've got Mark Zuckerberg, a character playing him, or an AI, and Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump and other. I think Jack Dorsey. I think they're mentioning other people, which sounds like the Copa clan inside the movie, which is super cool. I mean, I think they're probably going to have to call it a parody or a whatever to maybe get away from the legal consequences of it. But you know, it sounds to me like it's based upon real events. Copa, Kleiman, and the O'Hagan affair, or the Satoshi affairs.
Gavin,
Yeah.
I can't help but think, but that this movie was finally allowed to be made. The powers that be, those that can't be named, would easily shut this down. Now all of a sudden they've bought up distribution for it.
Right.
I just have a feeling that whatever is going to happen has finally been allowed to move forward to happen.
It does.
Yeah,
It does sound kind of strange. If they wanted to stop it, then why would they be letting Warner Brothers pick it up? I mean, it's not like they don't know what's going on. Craig Wright's name is right in there as the main character. I mean,
if
come
they
on.
wanted to stop it, they wouldn't even allowed it in cans.
Yeah.
How's that? They would have told Gal Gadot. They would have told her, "Listen, you're not acting in this movie."
Yeah.
You've heard the old adage. You do this movie, you'll never work in this town again.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting promoted and getting bonuses and getting paid millions of dollars to do it. So they want them doing it.
Well, look, at the end of the day, we or I should say some of us know where BTC is headed. It's mathematically dead. So something has to take its place. So this technology is needed.
And that,
so I mean,
honestly, that is I think the biggest opportunity, and that's why I named the space is about the Great Bitcoin Flippening. And people talk about crypto and getting rich on crypto. I mean, imagine, you know, actually just being patient and realizing what's going on here with BTC to BSV on the flip. I mean, that is the biggest opportunity. I mean, would you agree?
I 100% agree. I don't think there's not only is this the biggest opportunity, I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for something like this to ever come through during my lifetime. That's for sure.
Ever.
I mean,
yeah,
you don't see this kind of opportunity every day. That's for sure.
Yeah. It is a mathematically, well, I think it's a I'm wondering if it's actually a computer science based. I mean, I would love to hear. I don't know if David's ever talked about this or as a technical side, if the technical side of the flippening and how it could happen. I mean, is it technically possible, David? Technically, you think that it could happen?
Wait, that
BSV could flip BTC.
I mean, I don't know. There's any technical reason not to, or that it couldn't. And in some ways, the BTC difficulty adjustment, like if ever miners lose interest in mining BTC, it could end up in a death spiral because the difficulty, there's kind of a difficulty trap there that doesn't actually exist currently in BSV and BCH. So, I mean, yeah, it absolutely technically could happen, but price and the network technology are kind of not really related at all. So,
Really?
I mean, price is simply what is someone willing to pay for the coins. So, yeah, if more people are willing to buy BSV than BTC, and then especially as miners, as difficulty then kind of has to, or if hash power drops off of BTC, then it takes longer and longer and longer to find the next block until a significant period of time has passed. So, yeah, they could absolutely end up in a chain death.
A death spiral, huh? Like J Paps
But
is talking about.
I mean, there needs to be a lot of BSV valuation increase before anyone would even think about that. But yeah,
Or a lot of transactions on the BSV network, right?
yeah, I mean, it just needs to be more attractive to hashers.
But from a
But
different
Well,
point of view, if you look at it, if I own a tech business and I want to build something on a blockchain, and then I don't know, BSV cross my mind, start digging into it, and then I find Calvin Harris. Start searching his name, what he did in the past, what his life is about. I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to put my business behind that name because I don't. I know he did good things for sure, but I mean the Bulldog thing and having the U.S. FBI, everybody on him. I mean, I don't know if I want to be associated with a criminal. Maybe he's
Epstein's
not,
fine.
but
What about?
what?
I said, but Epstein is fine.
No, it's not. It's not either good. Anyway, like you said, it's going to zero. It's mathematically impossible to think Bitcoin in 5 years is gonna be where it's at right now. Because I mean, at one point you got to make a business decision if you're a huge miner, and it's probably not keeping mining Bitcoin.
well, as a business owner myself, I can tell you that if I had the choice between two suppliers and one supplier was giving me the widget for X amount of dollars, let's say it's $100, and I'm selling this item for $200. And this guy, he's the greatest human being in the world. Father of three, super loyal with his wife, yada, yada, yada. Guy number two offers to sell me the same thing for $20. $20 or $100. And the $20 guy is a real. All that matters is money. As a business person, all that matters is what things cost you. So this is back to the point where CSW was basically saying $500 million or Aussie man bad. Which one do you think they'll pick?
Mm-hmm.
It's economics, period. If you think anybody is in business to be a nice guy, you're living on a planet. I'm not sure it's Earth, but you're living somewhere because it just doesn't work out like that in the real world.
I can agree on that. I can agree, but still, there's it's itchy, you know. It's not.
Well, if you dig into the Calvin Ayre thing, you got to understand that the U.S. government had a hard-on for him at the end of the day. They had a hard on for him, and they just didn't want him making that money when they could have an American doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Agree.
Well,
Agree.
it's unfair
So,
though.
and if this guy was, and if Calvin Ayre was such a bad guy, as there are many bad guys, generally when you see, I don't know, say somebody's, say he's an embezzler or he's a rapist, or people like that don't turn around and then start improving the lives of Antiguan citizens and
Yeah.
renovating and building schools. And you got to understand, this guy was never a bad guy. This guy
No.
just got on the shit side of the American government. And the
Well, he was-
American government
They
and
they
the
want to
American
make an
government
example of
are
him.
not good. Yes, but the American government completely does not represent the American people. I know
No.
many Americans, super people, and the people that I've associated a lot with that are in the Virginia, Tennessee area. Some of the greatest people, nicest people, most giving people I've ever met in my life, and they are so disparaged by the media. They're called all kinds of names. It's crazy. These are some of the best people I've ever met. And the way the media and the government likes to play these people off as being Bible thumpers and lunatics and whatever else they call them over there. You go down there and meet these people, some of the best people I've ever met in my life, hands down.
Let me just chime in here on the Titan of blockchain a little bit. I'll give you some background because what had happened there. Because he was, when he came out of Vancouver, so he's coming out of Vancouver and he moves out there to the Caribbean and to start into the online gaming, and then became the biggest online gaming company in the world with Bodog. Then he got a target on his back. Now at that point, they wanted to make an example of him, and there was another guy who they put in jail for 25 years. But as opposed to him, answering the complaint, he never pled. He never entered a plea. Instead, he got complete immunity. So it's unfair to say, "Oh, you're guilty." No, that's double jeopardy. The U.S. government made a deal with him, and he got complete immunity from that suit, meaning he was he's innocent. Not the word not guilty. He was innocent of that immunity. So he was completely immune to that. Now he ended up paying $40-something million, but that wasn't because he paid the money. They confiscated that from him and then never gave it back. So, in his defense, he never was found guilty. He was in fact innocent, not even not guilty. He never pled. So it's
My understanding of that actually is that there is some, I don't know if it's a treaty or some sort of legal standing that Antigua has with the U.S. that basically made it so he wasn't even breaking the law in the U.S.
truth-
and Antigua won that case, I believe.
the truth about that, David, is more fascinating than you can imagine. Let me just give you a little background on how that actually happened. I'm going to invite you up, Casey, co-host. Is that the reason Antigua has that special privilege is because of Calvin Ayre, because he's the one that brought it to Antigua. Antigua was not in the position that it was before he became a citizen there. He actually helped, basically build that alignment, that treaty, that diplomatic, alignment to give them that status. And it's legal there to do the online gaming now. Okay, so he helped build all of that together. And that's part of why he was completely immune. So he followed the law and he did it all proper. He literally did everything proper. So hats off to this guy. He's like the Titan. He did it by the book. Okay, Casey Nicole, talk to me.
Hello, happy Saturday.
How are you?
I'm doing good, just getting off work. So I am here and happy
Well,
to
You missed.
Can you
talk
clean up
about
the nest,
business.
Casey? Gavin doesn't know how to do it, and someone posted some porn in the nest. Can you clean that up?
Got it, yes.
Thank you, Casey. And somebody, it looks like they say that Craig Wright filed this new case and he's trying to get all this lost Bitcoin. So that's what J Paps believes. You missed all that. So J Paps made the case that it was Craig Wright that's doing all this. And it's a very novel theory. There's reasons why I think he's not Craig. It's not Craig Wright because he says he's a U.S. a citizen of New York, but That's the only reason I have to base it on. Is that
Well, it could be there could be a third party involved.
could be? Yep,
There
there
could be.
could be. Yep, he could be using a trustee. 100%. A trustee could be involved. But
Yeah,
yeah,
have you gone into the Solomon Brothers thing yet? Because I haven't
that
gotten a chance to really
yeah
examine that. But
yeah we have. And let me recap on that. So the Solomon Brothers notice was served last year, and here's what the case says about it. It says back in okay, Solomon Brothers. All right, Solomon Brothers. Here we go. On February 2025, Noah Doe engaged a strategic consultant, Solomon Brothers, Strategic Advisors Inc., to assist in the development of a plan to reach out to any owners of the found wallets and provide them notice regarding the wallet's abandonment and detect any wallets that have been incorrectly grouped with the found wallets. He, in 2025 of March, Noah Doe also engaged a cyber blockchain expert independently to review the found wallets and assist in contacting potential owners. The expert found that the found wallets had been abandoned for the last 5 years. Noah Doe authorized the cyber blockchain expert to send messages to the wallets for the strategic consultant to host a web page, the Solomon Brothers web page, and notice to the abandoned wallets. Some of the test messages were sent around June 2025 through July 10th. If you remember, it was July 4th that we remember seeing it, and so that's the same period of time that this was that this court case is talking about. The expert sent messages via the op return, which enables a party to insert tokens into a digital wallet. The message directed each wallet holder to a web page that contained a notice, the abandonment notice. The messages were transmitted to each and every found wallet, and the abandonment notice was on a web page hosted by Solomon Brothers using the domain, Solomon Brothers established web domain. So here's the missing link to that Solomon Brothers notice, Casey. And what makes it rather novel here is that it's not just a random court case isn't going anywhere. And we were talking earlier about David Case was saying, well, how is it even possible that they could serve people through an op return? And I don't. We were debating that whether that's possible, but the court issued an order, an ex parte order, recently authorizing the plaintiff to hire an expert and serve 39,000 wallet addresses via the op return, and that was done on the 22nd of May. That happened. That's been done. So an expert served everybody this summons through the op return message.
Right.
So
And that's what I was.
according to
Yeah, I'm
this
sorry.
Bitcoin Magazine article, there's also two Wyoming-based LLCs on the lawsuit as well.
Yes.
Any of those have names or?
No names on them. In fact, Wyoming is the second most private state. You got Delaware being the most, and then Wyoming being the second. So it's almost going to be impossible to get anyone's name behind those Wyoming LLCs. They make them very anonymous and private there. So without a subpoena, without intervening into the case and doing discovery, yes, we could do discovery if someone had standing and we could get the names of those people. I think we really are entitled to those names because I think the Sixth Amendment says you have the right to know your accuser. Who's suing who?
Well, I think that's what's the interesting part is unless someone comes forward, there is probably no other interested party. If the claiming is that this is abandoned property, maybe no one is in standing because no one. I mean,
No, no, that's not true. You can simply gain standing. Any BTC holder would have standing simply because you can, uh, based on the merits that, hey, this would adversely affect the value or
What,
could adversely affect the
Vince?
value of my
If
BTC.
these coins are pre 2013, why just BTC?
What do you mean just why BTC? Why
Well,
not any other coin?
well, because the wallets they have all the bitcoins in them.
You mean they have the BSV and the BCH? Is that what
They
you're
do.
saying? Right. So yeah, I mean, this still the same thing would hold true though. Then that increases the pool of people who would have standing is that anyone who has any of those tokens that are common with the ones that are trying to be taken possession of would have standing because they could somehow adversely affect their investment by you don't know what they're going to do with them, that and you have a right to know. See, so I get it that it's a court ruling and the court approved that servicing, but I would, attack the validity of that. That's not, that's not proper noticing. Yes, does it happen all the time that parties are trying to be, served and they cannot? Well, there are procedures in place that are a lot more realistic. You print up a newspaper in the area or this. None of that is being done here. And now you have something that is worldwide. I mean, what are you going to do? Print a notice in every single paper in the world, which would actually be much more practical, with more acceptable than, having something put into the op return and trying to serve them that way. Nobody checks your wallets. What duty do you have to check your wallet every so often for a notice? That was never written into the code or written as a policy to hold Bitcoin.
Yeah. So what's going to have to happen here is that someone's going to have to come
Well,
forward and then
can I
depose
just
the
say this
plaintiff.
is also like a big deal because it's recognizing blockchain as actual legal like infrastructure instead of just speculative asset stuff.
Yeah. Someone would have to come forward and depose the plaintiff in order to find out who he is, because it looks like the New York property law, it makes an exception where if nobody challenges it and objects, then they may allow the person to proceed as an anonymous party, a pseudonym. Someone was going to have to oppose that. So I think we should probably set a timer and keep an eye on this. And if nobody intervenes in this case in the next month, then we should.
See,
Maybe
now
I
this
should.
would, I mean, I hope we're not, creating arguments for the bad guys. I mean, these could be the good guys. I mean, that are
Yeah.
trying to
But
do
I'd like to
this.
know that.
So,
I'd like to
right.
know
So, I mean,
that.
play it through. It'd be interesting to play it through that if, the case is successful and they do take possession of it, and they issue an order to the miners, at least to the American miners, that these coins are to somehow be, confiscated or not processed, what have you. I don't know what kind of mechanism there would be to give possession to a certain individual, or just frozen, or what have you. And what exactly would happen at that point? Would this benefit, certain Bitcoins? Would it benefit BSV? Because BSV could say, no, look, we have our own internal mechanism for, for a situation like this. We've already contemplated this. We have NARDAR. What do you have, BCH? Well, no, we don't have anything. What do you have, BTC? Well, we have nothing. So, okay, we'll let it go then for the ones that don't have a mechanism in place to deal with this. But BSV stays as it is.
Yeah.
All I can think of in reminiscence is, I don't know if you guys remember the Craig Wright interview where he says, BTC, I want to burn them to fucking shit. And then he says, when? And then he replies, 2026.
Yeah, that was he came on
Good
that guy's
Lord,
podcast.
2026. Oh my God.
He came on that guy's podcast. He just showed up randomly on that BCH guy's podcast and he trolled in there. It looks like he was having a good ass time drinking wine and came in and sat down on that guy's podcast. The guy was shocked.
So good. So good.
I noticed
And
Bose.
remember, 2026.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me just say this one thing. 2026. I mean, look, I've been going through this for years and years, and with other coins and this. But 2026 is the 250th, the quarter centennial, whatever it's called, of the the American
Independence, yeah.
independence, right? So there's just something. July 4th, 2026. I mean, something is the timing. And then, yes, Craig saying, 7 or 8 years ago about 2026. Why 2026? What's happening 2026? I think that things are, like J Paps was saying, there's so many things. The movie coming out, and it's just not just the movie, telling, a fictional story. You do have real names in there. Also, you have the novelty that it's about Bitcoin, a true movie, a true Hollywood movie made about Bitcoin. You also have the novelty that it's made in AI. If there are people that aren't even interested, "Oh, I'm not watching no Bitcoin movie, I don't understand that." Oh, but this movie's done all in AI. It'd be interesting to watch it. So they covered many angles. Even the actors that they utilized. You have the Gal Gadot, an Israeli actress. The Israelis
She's
love
famous,
her
dude.
extremely. The Jews are very proud of her. You have Pete Davidson. He has his own, little entourage of followers, and
Oh,
Ben
little.
Affleck.
He's like top 100 most famous people in the
I
world.
know, I know. So, and then you combine all that and you throw it in with this movie that's never really, there's never really been a movie in this capacity done with AI. So you are even going to have people that are going to watch it, just for that matter. And as far as what that gentleman, OG, I forgot his name, was talking
OG
about. Oh
Vapor.
well, yeah, we're and rightfully so. He has his you know thoughts about, well, or how are people going to think about this with Craig Wright's past and this. That's over. That's done. That's old news. Okay,
I
when you
agree.
have
Change my mind.
when you have people that are pouring tons of money into things like dog Wi-Fi hat or Peppy coin, or a new coin that's Doji's little cousin or Doji's girlfriend, or you think they give a shit? I mean, honestly, but and they're not stupid enough to see the potential. The big thing here is that, and it's been said before. Oh well, why not just change the name to, instead of Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, just to either Satoshi Vision? No, 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 no. You have the Coke brand. Why would you ever relinquish the Coke brand? If you're creating something totally different than Coke, yes, but no, you're going after your true formula and developing the Coca-Cola product as it was. Okay, why would you ever relinquish? That's the biggest marketing, the best marketing angle that you can ever go with, and you have a right to it.
Yeah.
Well, I always say in life, when there's too much confluence or coincidence, there's probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I think J Paps was making the point earlier about this movie. How in the world, if you really were on the side of like, "Look, they're going to stop this, it's not going to happen," well, then why would this movie be going forward? Why would it be going out to Cannes? Why would it be going to Warner Brothers? And why would it be coming out with all these famous people? Why does seem like there is some fringe story going on that this is going to happen now if we can put a tinfoil hat on. Vince, I know you
And
love
remember, for every BTC that the US government is holding, I mean, aren't they holding an equal amount of BSV as well?
if they're the
Yeah, the
older
strategic
older version.
reserve. Yeah,
Right.
there's a paragraph that mentioned that I think it's 5 or 10 years holding mandatory to any fork of Bitcoin, and so everything that was seized probably has BCH or BSV into it. So pretty sure the Bitcoin reserve accounts for any fork. And why would they call it the Bitcoin reserve and not the BTC reserve?
Hmm.
That's exactly right. But that 5-year limitation was from the point of when the coins were first taken possession of. So most of them have been, have expired. So technically, they could sell those coins. I think that's what that provision was. That it had to be 5 years. Any fork that's been 5 years has to wait 5 years before it can be transacted.
Yeah. Now, I would like, there was an article, there was a magazine, I'm sorry, not an article, but it was someone had done a bunch of research last year on this op return. I'm sorry, not the op return, the, the Solomon Brothers. There was this article I remember seeing, and it was taken down, and I had to find it on an archive website, and it went really deep into all these, all the stuff that Solomon Brothers did. I'd love to find that again, if anybody can find that, out there. It was really good. It went through all the history on that Solomon Brothers stuff and had all the links to all these things. And that's where he really went into like the hashing and the wallet addresses, and there were names on it. And it did kind of look like it would have been something Craig Wright had done at that point.
Has anyone read the book from Phil Wilson? He's claiming to be the Satoshi number 2, which he was acting as the porte-parole of the spokesman of Satoshi on various forums.
No, Phil Wilson.
Yeah, go look up his X account. He's got a link to his book. Pretty interesting. I mean, there's nice stuff in there. I think he's an Australian too, and I would
Oh
definitely
yeah, I
recommend.
did see that guy. That's really interesting. What's the deal with this guy? He knows Craig, and what is his story?
Well, I think he found well, I would say Craig, but he found Satoshi and started talking with him. And he has various background in building some system without any coding knowledge, but he knew stuff about gaming and well, whatever he did in his past life, and he
Oh yeah,
was
he
the
talks
the
about
number
here
one.
on his website about the origins of the logo itself, the Cypherpunks Manifesto, the Bitcoin origins, the symbol, the orange logo, and origins.
Yeah, I
Really,
mean,
I haven't read
pretty
through this yet.
interesting story.
I'd like to find out more about it. Really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, you should interview that guy. I mean, it'll be very interesting interview.
Let me see if I can reach out to him. Maybe Casey, you could probably reach out to him. That would be great for me. I can't on this thing. I'm not able to do that here. So, um, I have, yeah. Well, Casey, you're not. Oh, you're down again. Let me add you back up. You've got an internet problem. What are you on an RV? Casey, invite. What's up? Okay. Can you, Casey? Are you back up? No. Yeah, you are. Can you unmute?
Yeah, every time I join as a speaker,
I got you as
connection
co-host.
lost, reconnecting. But I'm okay. Well, I'm sorry, my internet's being stupid, but I'll reach
You,
out to
you,
him for you.
Yeah,
you need
please.
that Starlink scoop.
Starlink is amazing. I'm on Starlink. How's my internet? Pretty good?
Very good.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on Starlink. I like it. I mean, it's very expensive, terribly expensive, but other than the expensiveness, it's great. I like it. I wire directly into Starlink into my desktop, so I think it's pretty reliable that way. I have a good signal. Happy. Yeah, there's no broadband where I'm at all, so I don't even have broadband. Weird. Right in the middle of the city, no broadband. Very strange. But
I actually am getting Starlink very soon,
you
so it's
should.
in the works already.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would recommend it. I think it's very good internet. A lot of planes are getting it. The plane when I'm on, what's it? United, terrible internet. But then if I go on, I think what was I on? Something else. They had Starlink, and it was so good on the plane. It was perfect. United, I can't connect. So we should do an event. I'd love to do a meetup or events out here in East Bay Area, preferably East Bay or the city would be fine. I'd be down to do that. Next week, I could do a meetup if not a presentation, just a meetup, dude. I think it'd be good. I'm thinking about doing that. So There is a big event in London. Well, pretty big. It's going to be coming up in the middle of next month. I need to find the dates on it. People are going to be in the UK. I can find out more about that. Get that to you next time. But yeah, I think if I'd like to hear more about this Phil Wilson guy for sure. So let's see if he responds, Casey. Let's talk to him. I would love to hear more from him and maybe do a show with him. See what the story is. He's probably got a cool background.
He's got like this video that I forget who the interviewer is. It's like 7.5 hours. It's just ridiculous, but and it's not very good audio. Plus the fact that you cannot. The guy's got such a heavy. I mean, extremely heavy dialect. And you can barely understand. It's worse than I think it's worse than Cockney. Trying to understand that.
Phil Wilson?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no,
very.
maybe he's New Zealand. A lot of guys from New Zealand, their accents so thick.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe you're right. I think he is New Zealand. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. New Zealand's the Kiwis. They've got thick accents sometimes, especially if they're from the bush area, and they really are hard to understand. So he may not be
But
a good, his.
But the guy definitely knows his stuff, though. I'll tell you that. I mean, he makes a very good argument, and he's not saying, "Oh, Craig is not Satoshi," or he's not. No. He's just saying that. Look, he was working on it too, and in fact, there were things that Dave Kleiman couldn't figure out that he actually figured out, and there were things that Craig wasn't understanding about the private key versus the public key and all that, and it took him a week to explain it to him. And so, I don't know, but
Yeah, he's saying that
the
he was
details.
just part like when it was released, he was with the Bitcoin Talk forums and the early forums, probably under a pseudonym. But yeah, that's what he's claiming here, which is cool because he was working with Marty Maloney under a pseudonym, Cyrus.
Right. So yeah, he's not, claiming that Craig is not this or is not that. No. I mean, he's actually corroborating Craig's story, just,
Yeah,
you know, adding pieces in there that weren't known before. That's all.
super cool. So what, Dave? We still got David Case up here, man. What's the word, David? What's new and exciting in the space? Anything that you're working on that you think that people should know about?
I've been doing a lot of work lately on Arcade, which is a broadcast mechanism into Terranode, and a lot of that is because we've got the new Yours wallet rewrite that is pretty much done. We're just kind of waiting for all the new Terranode tooling to feel smooth enough that people aren't going to have a bad experience using it, and that's pretty much there. So new Yours wallet's probably going to get released to the Chrome store in the next week or so. And then I don't know, like we just got a whole bunch of tooling for interacting with BSV via AI agents and interact or kind of controlling a BRC 100 wallet from an AI agent, and a lot of just tooling and R&D in that area.
So you're saying the Yours wallet is going to be re-released soon?
Yes. Yeah, it's the work on it is pretty much done. We've got a couple bug reports from devs, but it's out in the public. Anyone who wants to build it from source code can run it and provide feedback.
And is it going to be used on the App Store?
It'll be on the Chrome. It's a Chrome extension still,
Cool.
so it'll be on the Chrome store.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Chrome. Okay, so would it be okay? It'll be a Chrome extension. Got it.
Yeah, it's the same way it was before. I mean, it's just gonna, if you had it installed before, it's just gonna update. And
I have not. So I can basically
don't bother until it's out.
Okay.
Because it's pretty much broken how it's out right now, or the old version that's out right now. So
I'll wait till it's done then.
Yeah.
And what about the AI agents? Intersection. What can you tell us about that?
Well, essentially, Yours wallet is BRC 100 right now, and BRC 100 is all about like providing a standard interface for interacting with wallets. So most of the functionality in Yours wallet that deals with like one-set ordinals or BSV21 tokens or anything that's not just raw Bitcoin created a bunch of libraries to kind of interact with your ordinals and a BRC-100 wallet. So you can inscribe ordinals into any BRC-100 wallet, and you can interact with BSV21s in any wallet. Now, those wallets themselves in their user interface might not show you those things. If the wallet doesn't know about ordinals, it doesn't know how to show it. But if you're going to a website that connects to your wallet, that can then show the user what ordinals they've got in their wallet, or allow them to list them on a marketplace, or any of that kind of stuff. And then that same exact tooling, all the like one sat ordinals, it's the one sat SDK, all of that tooling for that yours uses to interact with all the kind of one sat assets, any other BRC-100 wallet developers can plug into the same tooling, and things will get then put or kind of categorized in your wallet the right way, and make sure you're not actually spending things when you're sending BSV, and all the kind of the rules for how that different data is maintained in the wallet.
Yeah. Casey?
I hope my internet works for this question, but David, I was curious, do you know if it's ever going to be possible we can get our Twitch NFTs back?
So get your Twitch NFTs it's an interesting question. So like via code, like anyone can move Twitch NFTs, but there are no wallets that really know how to render like to show you what your Twitch NFTs are. So it's actually not that huge of a deal to interact with them, but someone just needs to have the interest in doing it. And I mean, they could absolutely live in a BRC-100 wallet. They could be maintained and everything else, but they'd have to be moved into there, and someone would have to create the script that moves them appropriately. Now, having said that, I believe they did airdrop a bunch of the Twitch NFTs as one set ordinals. I don't actually know the state of how far they got on that, or you'd probably have to ask Harry that. I don't know.
I'd be really curious because I feel like I really loved those, and then also some of the Relay X ones, like the Women of BSB stuff that Ruth made and things that those were kind of keepsakes to me. I'd love to find a way to have those.
Yeah, it's really, there's not that big of a technical hurdle. There's just a focus and effort, and having it be economically worth someone's effort to bring them back. There's a lot of things that wouldn't take that much work if someone wanted to focus on them, especially now that we've got AI overlords to help us out.
Mhm.
It's just got to be important to someone.
Yeah. It's got to be a
I hear
bounty
that.
on it. Somebody wants to retain David. I'm sure you can get that done, Casey. So, J Paps, over to you.
How much? How much would something like that cost?
Hang on, I just,
Like David, you have an idea of?
Well,
sorry,
it's gonna.
people, I just got a
He
jet.
doesn't
I
need to
just
give us a
wanted to
quote
say,
right now, David. If you want to reach out to David and hire him on a retainer, feel free to. Okay, go ahead, J Paps.
yeah, sorry, I just wanted, I have to jet. I just wanted to thank you for hosting the space. Thanks for letting me rant my tinfoil rant. And I guess I'll catch whatever I haven't listened to on the recording. Have a great
Thanks, J.
Saturday,
Paps.
I love
everyone.
your tinfoil.
Love it.
Thank you. I got plenty more for another space.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's really exciting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
J.
bye,
Paps.
guys.
Yeah, so it's really a great time. I mean, yeah, I think this is more exciting with this court case. There's so many, crypto is dead as hell, and nobody cares about it anymore, apparently. So it's this is really where the excitement is, because we're doing stuff, building things, and the potentials here, and then of course with the movie, and then this court case coming out, and always just the ever evolving drama of the Satoshi story. I do feel very blessed to be alive in the time of Craig Wright. I'll be honest. I mean, I guess I'm just a big fan that he's even out there posting all this stuff right now. If you're not following it, the papers that he's writing and the stuff he's doing is absolutely next level. And it may be another 10 years before people really appreciate all the work he's doing now, but it is huge. I sure don't understand it. I'm not saying I do, but it's definitely an amazing time to watch what he's doing. So I'm a big fan. Casey, hands up? No? Okay. Casey Nicole?
Nope, no hand up, but I concur. I definitely feel the same way about Craig and just observing this entire thing that we have to play here on planet Earth at this time. We need it very badly. I hear his words echoing in my head of, we've got to get this adopted by 2030 or we're in big trouble as a species. So I think he's like got a higher level view than we do on that.
For sure.
I just want to mention that that video of Craig where he was being interviewed many years ago, and he mentions 2026, where he just kind of busted into that interview randomly. Man, look, I read people for reading. I mean, for a living, and you know, you cannot. I said this so many times. You cannot fake that kind of emotion, man. I mean, that is real. Just like that guy was saying, man, you are definitely a very real person. He really meant it. Whether it's real or not, that's a different story. But he believed what he was saying with authority, with conviction. So, and he truly, when he said that, I want to burn them. What did he say? Roger and
Jihan Wu.
Jihan, all right, and Jihan Wu. I mean, that's the look of somebody that you just want to like, "Woo, okay, I'm going to walk away from this fight, here. And because there's going to be some kind.
One story that's missing from the history that I don't know about, and I did an interview when I was in Guangzhou a couple months ago with a guy who he wouldn't admit or deny if he was there, but he was an insider. He's an insider. Mine the first block on BSV, and he knew all about the Hong Kong agreement. And I wasn't sure if he was there, but that Hong Kong agreement is what blew all that up, because Jihan and Roger and Craig, they had some agreement going forward at the Hong Kong agreement, and then they burnt Craig on that. And that's what caused that anger and that emotion. Now, what that agreement was, I don't know. I have never read it. And that's a little missing piece of history there as to what the agreement said and what changed, who and how they didn't follow it. Does anyone know? Casey, maybe you do.
I don't.
No. Okay, your hand was up. That's a piece.
Wasn't that the agreement where they agreed that Adam Back had agreed that he was going to do the 246, increase the megabytes?
Adam, no, it would have been. It was after Adam Back. So this would have been 2017 2018. This is after BCH had already come out, and then they were in agreement they were finding agreements on things. Jihan Wu and Roger and Craig had all the hash power. And so they had an agreement on something, and then the other guys apparently did not follow the agreement. That's why Craig was frustrated at that time, and that's how.
Yeah, I think it was something, and they were battling, but then Roger went out and got extra hash power from somewhere, and it was a little. There was a big contention where he kind of went around their backs and he rented hash power, or was that from the BTC split? I don't know.
No, I'm not sure which side. I actually know. I know the guy who. Well, I know. Casey met him as well, and I'm not. He goes by a pseudonym, so we can't really go his background. But he's the one that he would know all the background on that. He set all that up. I don't know if he would come on a space, but I can go and meet with him and ask him about the history and find all that out. He would know, don't you think, Casey? I mean, he would be the person that would know all that. You met him in Las Vegas.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I did put a couple things in the nest of Craig talking about Roger, if you want to check them out.
Craig and Roger were friends, and then now he sued Roger. He dropped that case against Roger, though. He dropped it. So Roger's off the hook, He doesn't need to hate Craig anymore. Should be okay. So what about some events? Oh, Casey, there was another attorney in the space, or an attorney in the space called BSV ESQ. He's been posting. He's really someone to follow. He's kind of chatted with me on this court case a little bit back and forth, and he wanted to talk about merchandise, and he had some good ideas. So that was just a cool idea to have. I don't know, it's a future thing, but that'd be cool to have some logos or
Yeah, so I actually have a big cartel shop completely ready. I just need like graphics now. It's all poised and like ready to be just loaded with different, options of people to buy different merches, hats, hoodies, cups, all that stuff. We just need, if anybody has any graphics that they want to see on hoodies and stuff, send them over and I'll get them on the mock-ups and you can order them from the store. So it's time to start collecting the sayings, the phrases, the power statements and things that we want on the merch floating around the
Great
world.
Bitcoin
So
Flippening is one,
yeah.
and then we want to have that other guy. He posted this cool logo, the BSV ESQ guy.
Yeah, I saw it. I
Okay, you
like
did
that
see
one
it.
too. I'll
Thank you.
definitely.
Nice. The other one was that shirt that Raphael has. He has that cool shirt. It says, it's Craig Wright's passport, and it says Satoshi on it. That's a cool one. Oh, other ones are this guy, bookmarks. Rod Sirloin. Okay. He's the funniest memes ever. If you guys aren't following this guy, Rod Sirloin, he's got some funny ass memes. One of them here says, "There's our little Satoshi. Why don't you come and tell us about the bonded courier?" The bonded courier story is pretty one to really think about, is because that is if you remember the bonded courier, and I couldn't find my research on that. I did all this research on it and I couldn't find it. It was way too hard to dig through on Kleiman again. But from what I remember, that Craig was he and Kleiman, Kleiman had sued him, and then he was being sanctioned for not producing the wallets. So he didn't produce the wallets, and then he ended up producing them with the bonded courier at the last minute, or was it at the magistrate level? He ended up producing the wallet addresses for the bonded courier, but then he lost on with the magistrate, and he appealed to the district court, and the district court overturned the magistrate's ruling and saying, yes, he did comply, so you cannot sanction him. He did produce the bonded courier as required, because the lower court sanctioned him saying he didn't. But the higher court overturned that, and he did comply with the bonded courier. So that's the bonded courier story. I mean, in symbol overview, is that he did show up. And if I remember right, that was Shatters that had the declaration, but I couldn't